This thing on? Check, check, testing. Oh, yep, we're running. Okay. Welcome back again, Genius Math students. This is Unit 1, Lesson 3 now. We're moving right along. This title is Equations and Inequalities. You got two objectives today. The first one is to check solutions and solve equations. Okay? And the second one is to check solutions of inequalities. Alright, so basically I want you to tell me, is a number a solution of an equation or not? And is a number a solution of an inequality or not? Okay, should be pretty easy. So let's jump right into it. Okay, first we need to refresh your memory on what inequalities even are, what they look like, what they mean. The word inequalities, okay, it means something is not necessarily equal. Oops, not equal, equal. Okay, not necessarily equal. So it could be equal maybe, but it's not necessarily equal. Most time it's not equal. Okay, whereas an equation is always equal. Alright, so symbols. This first one right here. Okay, should remember this. The meaning of that one is less than. Okay, and keywords that you would see for less than, most time is going to be less than. Okay, most time when it means less than, it's going to say less than. Okay, the second symbol, this one is greater than. Okay, so we got greater than. And again, keywords, most time you're going to see greater than written. Okay, now the next one here is less than or equal to. Okay, so I'm going to abbreviate this, less than or equal to. Okay, now when you see the words at most or no more, okay, that means less than or equal to, meaning it could be that much or it's got to be less than that. Okay, so Mr. Ayers weighs at most 175 pounds. Mr. Ayers weighs no more than 175 pounds. Okay, means I could be 175 or less, but I'm not more than that. Okay, next one is greater than, abbreviating the greater than part, GT. Okay, or equal. Okay, greater than or equal, you'll see words like at least. Okay, so at least means it's greater than or equal to. Mr. Ayers weighs at least 500 pounds, meaning I could be 500 pounds or I'm more than that. Okay, greater than or equal to. So those keywords, gotta know them. Okay, now let's talk about some wonderful examples coming up here. Okay, we got example 1. We'll give this a part A and a part B. Part A says to check whether the given number is the solution of the equation. So here's my equation, and I want to check, is this number a solution of it? All I need to do is take this number and plug it in when I see the variable. Okay, you've done this before. Alright, so now basically what I'm wanting to know is, does 3 times x plus 1 really equal 7 or not? Okay, well, I'm going to plug in 3 times 2 plus 1, and I want to know, does that equal 7? Okay, I'm going to put a little question mark here. Whoops, let's erase this. Okay, put a little question mark here because I want to know, does it equal 7 or not? Well, so we're solving this side over here. This equal sign acts like a big dividing line. Okay, so I need to solve both sides of this. Well, the left side has stuff to do. The right side doesn't. Okay, so I want to know, does the left side equal 7? Well, order of operations, I do the multiplying first. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1. I want to know, does that equal 7? 6 plus 1 is 7. That equals 7. So this is a truth fact. This is true. Okay, now if you really wanted to write, yes, Mr. Ayers, it is indeed a truth fact. Don't tell your English teachers. Mrs. Scranton wouldn't be proud, but I will accept that as a perfectly good math answer. My favorite TV show is How I Met Your Mother. Anybody who's seen it, then you might know where truth fact comes from. But this is true. Okay, so basically what I want you to tell you, or what I want you to tell me is it true or is it false when you plug in the number they give you? All right, part B. Same thing here. I want to plug in 4 for my variable. Okay, so I want to know, does 2 times 4 squared minus 7, is that really less than 25? Okay, order of operations, got to do the exponents first. So 2 times 4 squared is 16 minus 7. Want to know, is that less than 25? Again, you can think of this inequality or equal sign like a big dividing line. I don't have to solve the 25. They're telling me that things are, I'm comparing it to 25. Okay, so next I got to do the 2 times 16. Well, that's 32 minus 7. And I still want to know, is that less than 25? 32 minus 7 is 25. Now I'm down to the end. It says 25 is less than 25. True or false? No, 25 is not less than 25 because it's equal to. Those are not the same thing. Okay, so this is a big, fat, false statement. Okay, and we got the work to prove it. Now, if I had said at the beginning, less than or equal to, then it would have been true because 25 is equal to 25. Okay, but it's just a less than one. Alright, so for those kind of examples, just plug in the number, solve it on down, tell me is it true or false. Make sure you show all your work. If you don't show all your work, you get 0 credit. Alright, let's go on to another example. Okay, example 2, we got part A, B, and C. It says write the equation or inequality for each. Okay, now you'll see some key words here that we're going to have to remember what they mean. Okay, let's look at part A. It says the sum of x and 13 is 47. Okay, sum, remember what that means? It means to add. This word is, we should remember what this means. This is equals. Okay, so when I see the word is, that means I'm writing an equation. Okay, if that's all it says is, then it means equals. So sum of x and 13, again, sum means plus, so I'm taking the sum of x and 13, that's x plus 13, and saying that is 47. That's it. Doesn't ask you to solve it. It says write the equation or inequality. That's all you need to do. Okay? Is I'm taking these words and translating them into algebra, into letters and symbols and numbers. That's all they're asking for on here. Okay, let's move to part B. Keyword, the quotient of 12 and x is less than or equal to. Okay? That is not just is. If it said just is, it would be an equation. But there's a bunch of other stuff. It means it's inequality. Okay, we should remember quotient means divide. So I'm going to read these from left to right. The quotient of 12 and x. So that's 12 divided by x is less than or equal to 4. Okay, it doesn't ask me to solve it. That's it. Okay, now another way you could write this, and what I would actually prefer you to start doing, because you're going to see this a lot later in the year, is instead of doing the division sign the way I wrote it there, write it like this, 12 divided by x. Because you will see this one a lot more, okay, the farther we go in the year. And example C, the product, big word, of x and 7 is greater than 28. So product of x and 7. If I read it as it's written, I would go like this, x times 7. Notice I didn't use an x for the multiplication sign because I just used it for my letter. Okay, I want you to get used to using dots for your multiplication sign. Is greater than 28. Now there's a better way to write this though. Okay, when we have just a variable times a number or a number times a variable, you should always get used to just writing it like this. Take the number, put it first, and throw the variable on. That's it. So x times 7 is the same thing as 7 times x, and it's better if you write it like this right here. So 7 times x is greater than 28. This would be the preferable way to write that. Okay? Let's look at one other example here. Okay, and with the word problem here, it says you are taking a trip by automobile with the family of a friend. So you're going with your friends, family on vacation or something like that. You have $88 to help pay for gas. It costs $22 to fill the tank when you fill it up. Must be cheap gas or else a really small tank these days. How many times will you be able to pay for a tank of gas? It says to write an inequality to model the situation. Okay? Write an inequality to model the situation. This is a big word right here. Write an inequality. Means I don't want to say equal to. Okay, I want to say something else. Alright, so when we do word problems, again, I want you to circle what you know. You have $88 to help pay for gas. It costs $22 to fill a tank. And what we want to know is underline, how many times will you be able to pay for a tank of gas? Alright, well, I like to write what's called a verbal model first to start these. So how are we going to solve this in words? Okay, how am I going to know how much total money I spent? So I'm going to put total money over here. Okay, or money that I have. Alright, so money that I have. How do I get the money that I have? Well, it's going to cost me money for each tank. And I'm going to multiply that by how many tanks I can buy. That's going to give me my total money. Now let's think about this. I want an inequality, so I don't want an equal sign. So I can't spend more than the money I have. Okay, I cannot go over my budget. So I've got to spend less than the total money. But I could also spend exactly that $88. Okay, I could spend the $88. So it's going to be a less than or equal to problem. Right, now let's just fill in what we know. Dollars for each tank of gas. Okay, that is $22 for each tank. Times how many? Well, it's asked me how many times I want to be able to pay for a tank of gas. I don't know, so I'm going to put a variable there. And that's less than or equal to the total money I have to spend, which is $88. Am I done? Absolutely, I'm done. I don't know if you're done. I'm calling it quits there because if you read the question, all it says is write an inequality to model the situation. It does not say to solve it. Okay? Now, if it told me to solve it, then I would solve for x. But it does not say that. It says write an inequality to model the situation. So my problem is done. Okay? Make sure you read your problems because if it tells you to solve them, then you need to solve them. Alright? Okay. Good luck on your assignment.